Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I hope that you got out there, you had a great Saturday, you participated in some of the fun activities that we chatted about yesterday. Now we've got a full show in store for you today. We're going to be bringing you a lot of really cool and great information. I'm your host, Maddie Evans, and I love getting to spend each and every weekend morning with you. You can tune into Wasatch Weekends Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 a.m. We're going to give you a look at that local news, arts, entertainment, sports, all of it. We're covering it all for you here on Wasatch Weekends. So now we're going to take a little flashback to the past at a great activity that took place at Park City Fine Arts last year, and it's happening again this year. So let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Ryan Williams, and on behalf of Park City Fine Art, we're really excited to announce that we have an incredible show by Salvador Dali coming through with all types of etchings and sculpture and tapestries and original works as well. We have an incredible collection. It's the whole Christine Argelet collection. So Christine, her father Pierre Argelet was Dali's printer for years. So when he passed away, she inherited his whole collection, and that's what we're going to be seeing here in our gallery. And it's a really unique opportunity to see such an extensive collection in Park City. Dali created a lot of different series, so why don't we go around and I'll show you some of my favorite ones. One of Dali's most sought after and famous series is the mythology series. He was working a lot with Sigmund Freud, so he was fascinated by dream state. So he would go to bed thinking, okay, I'm gonna do Medusa. So he'd go to bed with a bucket between his legs, a metal bucket, and when he'd fall asleep, the bucket would drop and he'd wake up and he'd just start moving. And so he kind of was able to not use his conscious mind and put that rational brain to the side while allowing himself to flow and then going back and having detail. Another interesting thing that he did was he found a dead octopus on the beach one time. He took the octopus, he dipped it in a bath of acid, and he dropped it onto the copper plate. So that acid would eat into the copper plate, and then that's what he was doing the prints off of. So here you can see where the octopus laid, and this is the story of Medusa. Whether he was retelling like stories that have been told in a different way, or kind of other ones that make you think kind of out of this box, out of this world, that's kind of what Dali's known for. Everyone kind of knows Dali for his melting clocks and his paintings kind of illustrating that. But a lot of people don't know that he did sculptures as well, kind of depicting similar things. So this piece right here is just one of 8 in the world. So this is upwards of $1.2 million. And if nothing else, it's worth coming down and seeing this piece alone. On behalf of Park City Fine Art, I want to invite you down to 558 Main Street. The staff and myself would love to talk to you about what makes each piece so special, and we hope to see you soon.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
We've got 2-time Emmy Award-winning journalist Kelly Carter joining us. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me here.
We're so excited to have you here, and I personally envy you, especially as I was totally nerding out, looking at everything you do, all of your accomplishments. You are so well-rounded in the universe of media, and you're doing something really special right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means so much to hear you say that. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Now let's talk a little bit about why we're chatting right now, because it is really important that you are bringing this light to something special that Hulu is doing.
Yeah, Hulu has this hub now called Black Stories Always, because Black stories are always relevant and should always be there. But this month in particular, there are some noteworthy TV and film premieres that I would love to tell your audience about. Some shows I know that they already have been watching and are obsessed with that are about to come to an end. And like me, they want to see how it's all going to conclude. But what's great is that Hulu has really provided some one-stop shopping where you can find not only these new projects and original films, but you can also watch classic shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or 227, or even current shows like one of my favorites, Abbott Elementary.
Which that one makes you giggle no matter what you're doing, where you are. You put Abbott Elementary on and you've got a big smile on your face just because the humor in it is to die for, but then it also has some really important messages in it.
Like really important messages. And like, to make myself even more of a nerd, I watch the show on broadcast and then I rewatch it again on Hulu because I want to laugh again. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything because I was probably laughing over a line. So I do it often. So thank you to Hulu for having the next day airing of Abbott Elementary so that I can watch it all over again the next day.
Which makes it so much fun, and it makes it a great way for you to connect with the show. Now, there are some other really great titles. Like you said, you can watch classics like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but then there are some new ones that are coming out, and the one about Wu-Tang literally is so magical because it represents this incredible music group that everyone loves in such a way.
Yeah, no, it's so great. So it's the third and final season of Wu-Tang: An American Saga. And what is so awesome about this series is that, like you said, it is magical and it really kind of gives you this origin story of these hip hop superheroes, guys like Method Man, who is one of my all-time favorites, to RZA, who is behind the scenes guy who, if you are not familiar, he has scored so many important films. He's worked with Quentin Tarantino to bring the music to these really important films to life. And this series gives you the behind the scenes look, of how they became these kind of musical geniuses that they've become. And in this last and final season, they've released their debut album, and superstardom is just right on the brink for these guys. And we're going to see how they're going to handle it and what happens where they ultimately kind of become these household names that we all know and love and still celebrate all these years later.
So why do you think it's so important for a company like Hulu to do such a wonderful campaign and really bring this kind of spotlight to life?
I mean, I think it's important because why not, first of all? But second of all, I remember when they first announced that they were doing the Wu-Tang series, I thought that was so smart. And to do it in a serial form, a lot of times when we think about stories about, musicians or musical groups, we think of biopics. We think of like a 2-hour or 1 hour and 30-minute film that you can watch, you can love, you can hear all the music and it sounds great. But to really decide to take your time and tell a story in a serialized form was so brilliant to me, because I can't even tell you how many people are actually members of Wu-Tang. There are so many members of Wu-Tang, which means there are so many stories that can be told. And that's what's been so awesome about the series, is that they really have kind of, patiently walked you through this series that has a lot of really good, gripping, behind the scenes stories that none of us ever were aware of before.
Which I think is really important, and I think it's a really cool learning opportunity for a lot of people, only because it's all of these life lessons along the way. So I started watching it last night because I knew that I was preparing for this interview, and it was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really well done, right? And when I first started watching it, I was watching it through the prism of, how did they get to that one album that I love? Like, how did they get to that one song that I love? And I did not expect to meet them as young teenagers on the brink of not even knowing that they wanted to be musicians, or maybe having like just a spark that they wanted to be musicians, and then bringing me kind of, full throttle and full circle through their story. And I love that. That's what I mean about like taking their time to tell this story, and also telling us things that we don't know about, or that I certainly didn't know about before, with regards to sibling dynamics, family dynamics, and home life strife. So I think that all of that really helps you see and hear the music a little bit differently too.
Now, Kelly, really quickly, because you are such an incredible journalist, what has inspired you throughout your career as being a journalist to continue to push forward?
Just always trying to find new challenges, and really kind of scare myself a little bit and do things that maybe I haven't, done before. I think when I first started in this industry, my goal was to do it until I got bored, do it until I didn't love it anymore. And the beauty is that I still love what I do. I still am not bored, and I'm always finding something new to do. In fact, one of the new films that is on Hulu this month, I'm an executive producer of. It's the first time I've ever executive produced a feature film. It's called Three Ways. It's a sex comedy, mom and dad, but it's really funny. And this was a chance for me to flex some muscles that I hadn't flexed before, and that's part of, I think, being a journalist, is thinking of myself more as a storyteller, and not just someone who can report the news, but someone who also can have a perspective about how to present a story in a different way. And I look at people like, Robin Roberts, who not only reports the news, but she also executive produces, scripted films and TV series. And so that's something that I want to now do, in 2023, moving forward, is I want to be able to find new ways to tell a story.
Now, my final question for you is, if there's anyone at home watching, maybe a young kid who wants to get into the same career field as you, what piece of advice would you give them?
Ooh, stay nosy, because when an adult tells you not to talk as much or not to be as nosy as you are, those are two foundational tenets of journalism, and it will serve you very well should you decide to enter this space. But also stay curious often, because that's really the beauty of being a journalist. I tell people that all the time. I get paid to be nosy, and curiosity did not kill the cat. Curiosity helps you tell a well-rounded and far better story than you would have told before.
Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time, chatting with us, and giving us this great piece of advice that made me smile quite largely.
You must have been a talker too.
Oh, so bad. Still am. Thank you again for taking the time.
Me.
Of course. Make sure that you check out this great series on Hulu right now. There are so many amazing TV shows and films that are falling into this category that you do not want to miss, because not only will they educate you, they'll make you laugh, they'll make you cry, and they'll just give you that little piece that maybe you need to learn right now. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. If you're looking for something to get you out of the house, well then Ballet West is coming to town, and they are bringing a beautiful production. Now I've got Adam, Evelyn, and Allison joining me first thing this morning. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Now let's start with you, Adam. What do you do for Ballet West?
So I'm the artistic director of Ballet West, and basically as such, I plan all of the repertoire, I hire all the dancers, I coach the dancers, and oversee basically the entire organization from an artistic standpoint of what we do.
Wow, that is a very large role, and you wear so many different hats, and we're going to ask you some more questions about your role in just a moment. Now, Evelyn, what do you do?
I'm the Academy Director for Ballet West at the Frederick Quinney Lawson studio based downtown, right next to the Capitol Theater. And I oversee all 4 campuses that we have at the Academy, making sure that our dancers are trained so beautifully that Adam would like to hire them into the company.
And Allison, what do you do for Ballet West?
Hi, I am the principal of the Peggy Bergman Ballet West Academy. This is my first year on the job. I just retired from Ballet West as a dancer last April.
Well, congratulations on your dance retirement and congratulations on becoming part of the incredible organization, the Academy, and becoming the principal as well.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the production that you guys are bringing to the Eccles Center here in Park City very shortly.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind, I'll dive in. I'm really excited about it. You know, for the last couple of years, we've started coming to Park City more regularly, and it's wonderful now that we have an established academy campus up there. It's great to be able to bring more performances. This performance is really great. It was a show that we did down here in Salt Lake City in November, and it was a huge success with 3 different works. We're opening with George Balanchine's Concerto Barocco, a beautiful piece danced to Bach music, and then a work by great contemporary choreographer Yuri Killian, his return to a strange land, to the piano solo music of Leos Janáček, and finally a great story ballet by Agnes de Mille to the music of Aaron Copland, the wonderful Rodeo. So it's a really terrific triple bill, and I think the Rodeo ballet in particular was going to leave everybody going home happy.
Which this is kind of the big piece in this because this one is hitting its 80th year anniversary in being in cycle. So can you give us a little more information on why this is such a revolutionary piece for its time?
Yeah, you know, 80 years ago, it was choreographed by a woman choreographer, which is already a big deal at that period of time. And she really made this wonderful, simple story that has real profound resonance to us now still, especially when we think about, inclusion and gender identity. You know, this simple story about a young woman who just wants to be one of the guys and a cowboy. And she's in love with the head wrangler of the ranch, and her best friend, the champion roper of the ranch, she gets along with, but he tells her, well, if you really want to be noticed by this head wrangler, you should probably put on a dress. So she goes to a party, she puts on a dress. She's definitely noticed by the head wrangler, but in the process, she realizes that the person that she really loved was the champion roper, the guy who loved her just as much when she was just one of the guys dressed up like a cowboy doing what she loved best. So it's a really sweet, happy story, fun, beautiful music, but again, has real profound resonance when we think about things in the way that we look at things now in the 21st century.
Which I think is such an incredible and such an important message that we're spreading amongst everyone right now. And especially like you said, we do need to get this out there still to this day. And what a beautiful story and what a good love story. Everyone will leave like with those cute little butterflies in their stomach. So what's it like been preparing for the show?
Oh, it's been great. You know, well, we do so many shows back to back. So our dancers are currently dancing a completely different production, a huge one of The Sleeping Beauty, which we're running all the way through Saturday. And while they are performing Sleeping Beauty, they are actually rehearsing Rodeo and the other ballets on the program as well. So our dancers are computer brains. They're masterminds at being able to put together piece after piece after piece. I think all dancers are. And so it's been a busy period of time for us.
Now, what's it like working with all of these incredible dancers from the young ages all the way up? Evelyn, do you want to take this one? Or Allison?
I think Evelyn's trying to unmute.
No
I don't
worries.
want to rob her of this question. There you go,
Sorry,
Evelyn.
Sorry about that. Yes, training dancers from the age of 3 all the way up so that they can not only be well trained and be able to get a job in pretty much any company across the country, but give them a future and a hope of a career in something they may not have considered before.
And what's it like when you see your dancers move on to big productions like this one?
Oh, it's so exciting. I love picking out the students that I've had a role in training a little bit and seeing them, picking them out in Sleeping Beauty or in Rodeo, as a cowboy. And I know them in their ballet slippers in the studio working really hard. It's almost like, I am a mother, and it's almost like being a mother at a different level of all our students that we have.
I can only imagine the pride that you feel as you get to see the people that you've been with for so long move on to such bigger pieces. Now, Allison, as the principal of the production and a retired dancer of many of these wonderful productions, what's it like to kind of go through the motions in a different role?
I've always had a passion for teaching, had a passion for leading, young people. And so coming into this role as principal of the Ballet West Academy in Park City just felt natural to me after moving on from dance. It's really been a joy to bring the quality that I know I've experienced under Adam for the last 15 years as a dancer up to Park City. We really did that out of West. And we really try to create a community that is welcoming to all of the people that live in Park City. We know we have long-term residents, but we also have a transit community. We really try to shape opportunities for any kind of dancer. Also, young people who might be winter sports athletes, but they want to train in May. Secondarily, we offer opportunities for them. So we really try to integrate with the community as best we can. I think we're doing a great job there.
It sounds like you guys, all three of you, do such amazing jobs bringing everyone into the community, making sure that you're putting on the best production possible. Now, if you had to sum this production up in 3 words, what would you say?
Is this one for me to start?
Any of you jump in here.
Beauty, passion, and joy.
I feel like those are 3 positive words that you could also use as affirmations to really just get out there and live your best life. And so I think that inspiring people to do so is a great way for them to come and enjoy the ballet.
I agree.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for bringing all of this information to us, bringing this beautiful production to life. And now if people are interested in seeing it, can one of you give us more information on where they can buy the tickets?
So the easiest place to buy tickets for this production would be to go to balletwest.org. That's balletwest.org. They can buy tickets, they can look at the schedule and make all their plans.
Thank you again for all of the hard work that you guys put into all of these wonderful productions and all of the love and compassion that you show these incredible dancers as they're coming up from the age of 3 onward to being in one of these amazing productions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Make sure that you go to balletwest.org. That way you can buy your tickets and you can see all of the incredible productions that they have coming down the pipeline. You heard it here. These dancers are like absolute computers switching from production to production. So it's amazing to go out there and see them. So make sure that you check it out. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show. So stay tuned.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Thank you so much for tuning into your Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. Like I said earlier, I love getting to spend each and every weekend morning with you, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a ton of fun getting to be here and bringing you all this great information. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I'm inspired to go see the rodeo for the Ballet West. So make sure that you check that out. It's taking place in the upcoming days, and it's going to be a ton of fun to get out there and watch. We'll see you next weekend starting on Friday. I've been your host, Maddie Evans. Get out there and have a great Sunday.